Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing a review. Well, I'm going to tell you guys my first impressions, or like, literally I just finished the movie maybe like 15 minutes ago, and I'm going to talk about the new to me movie, which is Looking for Magical Doremi, or Looking for a Witch Apprentice, which is the 2020 Ojamajo Doremi movie, the one that was teased for so long, and then it finally came out in November 2020. The DVD just came out on April 4th, I think, and so I bought it, I watched it, I have opinions on it. Yes, I want to make this as non-spoiler as possible, so I wanted to also do a discussion video, which will take me a little bit longer because I'm gonna have to like make a pseudo script for that one. So yes, this is non-spoiler. I didn't know what to expect for this movie going into it. I knew that it was Ojamajo Doremi 20th anniversary movie, but I didn't know how Ojamajo Doremi was going to be, because a lot of the advertisement only really I feel like the advertisement, I didn't understand what was gonna happen, honestly. I'm not saying that it's bad advertisement, I just didn't know where it was gonna go, and so I was just really, I was just excited for anything Ojamajo Doremi, because that means that, more merchandise would be pushed and things like that. And Ojamajo Doremi is a lot more popular in Japan. I did like the movie. It just wasn't what I was expecting going into the movie. So basically, the plot of the movie is about three girls who love Ojamajo Doremi. They grew up with Ojamajo Doremi and they still love it. They're in their they're in their 20s. So they're all three of the girls, the main girls, are in different ages, but they grew up with Ojamajo Doremi, or they watched it on reruns or anything like that, and they are big fans. And so they go to this house that inspired the Mahodo, which is kind of the shop in the show, and by chance become friends, and they go on a lot of adventures. They travel together, and they find that all three of them are people who don't feel like they have any friends, and so they finally have friends that understand what they like. In this case would be Ojamajo Doremi, and I understand this. Ojamajo Doremi is a huge part of my personality, so I completely understand what's going on. And I get it. I feel like if you don't have any friends who understand, because if you guys didn't know, I collect a lot of anime stuff. I have a lot of Ojamajo Doremi stuff. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah. I collect a lot of Ojamajo Doremi stuff, if y'all didn't know. It is really hard to find people who are in your specific, and even, I think that some people may think, just because you're in Japan, you'll meet more people who like anime, or the specific type of anime that you like. Yeah, you can find people who like anime, but I think that the obsession for Magical Girl, or yes, I feel like I've had a lot of conversation with people when I'm in Japan where it's yeah, this is my favorite show, and they're like, oh yeah, I watched it as a kid, but it's not to a seriousness where a die-hard fan would be. So this movie is definitely for the die-hard fans of the show, and this is very fan service. I said the show is very fan servicey, but I don't think it's necessarily fan service. It's very much based on the fans. That's what I meant to say, not fan service, because I feel like those are two different things. This is very, don't get me wrong, I like the movie, but this movie is very much I heard your stories, and I want to put it all together and make a movie with your stories. And that's what it feels like. A lot of it is relatable, and I understand, and even one of the girls actually moved to America as a kid because of one of her parents' jobs or whatever, and that's something I could really, even though I'm a Japanese American, some of the stuff they talked about with her storyline, I can really, really resonate with because I'm Japanese American. I think the problem is, would I pay, so since I paid $80 for this movie, as a collector of Ojamajo Doremi things, I think this is cute, and I'm definitely, I'm so happy to have it. I'm gonna put it on my wall. It's gonna be a part of my collection. But I think as an animated movie, it was really good. As an Ojamajo movie, it wasn't very good. But I think this is the first, if I'm sure, the first full-length movie that Ojamajo ever had, so it's kind of interesting. I think that, I don't know, I like the artwork, I like the stories, it's so cute. As a story, it's so cute. Honestly, I think this is a really good movie in the sense of it made me laugh, it made me almost cry. I felt very, very attached to the characters. And that's very important in the story. If you can't get someone to care about your characters, your story is shit. So I think in that way, it's a very, very good movie. This movie does spoil things and stuff like that, so if you've never finished Ojamajo Doremi and you don't know what's gonna happen and you don't want to be spoiled, there are parts that I would say finish the series first and then watch this. Don't just go because I watched a few episodes and I want to watch it. That probably isn't. Unless you're okay with being spoiled with the series. It's small spoilers, but it's literally the spoiler for the end of the series, so is it worth the $80 I spent for this movie? If it was just the movie, I would say no. If I was in Japan and I went and I watched it in the movie theaters for $20, I think it would have been 110% worth this. I think that it would have been so freaking cool and so freaking fun, and like being with people who are also mega fans, because although this show was very popular in Japan, like I think that's why they have so many stuff coming out and things like that. I don't think that unless it's like Sailor Moon, I don't feel like Magical Girl gets as much love as it should, especially when it's like Magical Girl geared towards kids, because obviously the age demographic of Ojamajo Doremi is like 5 to 8. And obviously I was 5 to 8 during that time, but it basically took the best part of Ojamajo Doremi, which is the stories and the emotion and things like that. And I feel like Magical Girl should be considered a lot more important. At least it's important to me, especially as someone with trauma, and so whenever something bad happens, I like to watch kids cartoons and stuff like that. I think it's very, like, the message in Magical Girl, like, the genre is very powerful, and I don't think that people respect it enough or consider it real anime, which I don't give a shit if you don't like the anime I watch, but I think it deserves a lot more love, and I hope that it does in the future get more love. I mean, when you think of Magical Girl in the mainstream, I think you think of Sailor Moon or something that's a lot darker, which is like Madoka Magica. And like, I think kids cartoons are important because it teaches lessons that I think even adult cartoons or like even adult TV shows kind of try to stay away from. And I think it's a very interesting concept. And I kind of want to do a whole video on that, but I don't know. Not just in the sense of Magical Girl, but just like kids anime and how it talks about taboo subjects and how it deals with taboo subjects that adults don't want to talk about, because it's important for kids to understand. I mean, I still watch things geared towards kids, and I'm 25 now, so this one is just like, I'm just telling you my feelings, my thoughts, my opinions on this movie. It was cute, it was cool. It's kind of hard to talk about it without spoiling it, but pretty much I think it's a really good movie. Like I said, I really like this movie. I think it's a really good movie, but if you have the option to, when it gets on, one of those sites with subtitles, I think that that's a better option. I don't think that I think that it's, okay, so $86 is very specific for someone who's a huge fan. Like, I'm a huge fan. I have spent thousands of dollars on Ojamajo Doremi, so buying this is more of a collector's thing. But if you're not a huge fan of Ojamajo Doremi, this movie's not worth paying for. That's just kind of what it is. But if you are, and you want to get the special edition, it's cool. It's cute. It's an art piece. Like, this is adorable. Another thing that I thought was, like, this movie was because I watch anime to, like a lot of cutesy anime to just get away from real life. This one is very real. Like, they literally discuss very real Japanese problems and topics and like heavy things. So if you're not into that, like, I would not watch this. Also, this one is actually pretty hard. Like, even though it's like the original anime was geared towards kids, since this one's geared towards adults, the language in this is a lot more harder to understand. If you're like, I am a native Japanese speaker, but like my level of Japanese is not adult level Japanese because I live in America, of course. So like, there were parts where I didn't fully understand what was going on because yeah. Also, this movie did not have CCs, and like, even though I don't read kanji very well, I like having words at the bottom. It just helps me concentrate. Maybe it's an ADHD thing, but like, I wish that they had that in this movie. But again, that's just a problem because I watched it on DVD. So maybe once I realize I keep saying DVD and it was a Blu-ray, but like, it's the same shit, so don't come for me. What is it called? Once it like is on streaming or on a legal site, like one of those anime sites, you won't have some of the problems that I did with this movie. Also, I love the score of this movie. The score was so good. I really, like, yes, it's just, like, redone score from the original, but, like, honestly, I really liked it, and I honestly really, 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 really want to get the CD now. Like, I will buy the CD for this because it's really nice. It's also interesting because, like I said, because it was geared towards adults, there was drinking in this, and, like, if you guys don't know, the guy who, like, the main creator, the one that gets credited for Ojamajo Doremi, also does things like Purikua, which is also a kid's anime, so it's kind of really interesting to, like, with the style that he does, see drinking and adult stuff. It wasn't like there was any sex or anything, there's nothing like that, it's still a PG movie, but, like, drinking, that's just, like, really interesting. Like, it just wasn't, like, I wasn't used to that for his art style. Yeah, and now my camera is out of memory, so I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.